Everybody, it's time for our Wednesday night 7:15 show, live talk forum here tonight on Facebook and on our live studio space here at the Copper Dragon and the Institute for Christ Consciousness here in Virginia Beach, Virginia, a love energy healing and teaching center for people and pets, and a metaphysical store of higher end vibrational products for people and pets. And that's where we're at tonight, as always, on Wednesday nights at 7:15. My name is Lynn Rene MacDonald, and our show is the live talk forum here on Facebook. This is a psychic question and answer. This is wisdom for these times. This is answering your personal questions. We will be having, as always, segments and different information for you every week. This is what we do to help the people. We are real people with real lives, and our job is to guide everybody with wisdom in the new world from love. And that's what we do and teach. All you guys who come on here, I see you all coming on. You all know who I am. You know us. I have my great associates, Jennifer and Rachel, with us tonight, as always, and our forever studio audience, Sophia, and anyone else who comes in throughout the time. Sometimes we have lots of people, but in these times it's been kind of quiet, but we get through to everybody live when we go on location and we travel, as well as here in our studio space and here on Facebook and through our YouTube. So if you don't catch our shows here on Facebook, you can catch them on my YouTube, Practical Spirituality Live with Lynn Rene MacDonald, and those go back as far as to 2018. I believe some might even be 2017. All right. So, but they're great tools. There's 317 videos. You can watch all of our replays here of our show that we've done for like the past 2 years, and as well as see the YouTubes we've done even prior to that, which are great tools, especially for people from 4 or 5 years ago who, let's say, are looking for new, different avenues on this path, on their path and their life journey, spiritually and in all ways, to help and assist them into the future. Okay. So our show is designed to help you answer your questions, get the God's honest truth. Psychic Q&A we're going to do tonight. As always, we're going to answer your personal questions, your questions from last week. We're going to answer also the questions that we have for the show tonight. And again, your personal questions, anything that you want to ask about. Now, the show tonight, we're going to do a segment, a Q&A, right? That's a psychic Q&A, as always. We are going to do a segment on what's happening world events, because everybody's freaking out now. There's balloons in the sky. There's this massive train wreck. There's alien stuff going on, so they say, right? So we're going to dive deep into all this stuff tonight, and I got a whole list of the questions that you can answer as soon as we move past last week's questions and into our live segment for tonight, our psychic question and answer special segment, okay? And I'm just going to name off a bunch of things to give you guys some answers or some ideas, really, for what to ask and what to talk about. And I see all you guys coming on here. You come every week. Thank you so much. So many of you come. New people come. We're super grateful. The more we get the word out, the better. The more we help each other, the more we build a community from love to help everybody. And the more you share our stuff, you can donate in any way that you feel from love, right? From love. So if you can donate financially to help us keep going, or you can also donate by sharing our show, telling people what we do, come into our shopping center, patronizing our services, but only if you feel it in your heart, right? This is how we do it, right? Okay, that said, it's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks God, thanks love for that for us, right? We're going to have a great time tonight and a great show for you. I'm just going to read off, because I got my trusty list out here today, of some interesting topics and things to discuss for our segment on current affairs, what's happening in the world, what's going on, why it's happening, the energy of the now, because each week, this is why we touch on this a lot of times in our show, because each week everything is always changing. Everything that is God or love is constantly changing. That is the law of universe, the law of universe. So I'm just going to name off these things, and then we're going to get going, say hi to people. I'm going to say hi to Sophia in the back. Hey, Sophia, thanks for coming. Sophia already has a question for this week. Okay, great, Sophia. Okay, so I'm going to just give you some of the things, the current affairs that have come up that universe or love has guided me to speak to you guys about. to give you some ideas so you guys can ask the questions if you like, but to give you some ideas of the questions to ask for our segment on these current affairs and what's happening in these times and how to handle all of this that's coming. Okay, so the Ohio-Palestine Railroad train derailment, the U.S. government, talking about the U.S. government and related to anything, the alien stuff, digital IDs, weapons in Ukraine, sending the weapons to Ukraine, what's going to happen, let's say, with our taxes and the digital currency, food, water supply, food supplies, new and car trucks, new and old cars and trucks, what's the best cars to buy, what's going to happen in these times with those things, keeping old cell phones. Do you want to keep your old cell phone or your new cell phone? These are things that so many people haven't even thought about, that universe is just throwing out there. Some of them will come up in the feed, but you're going to see lots and lots of information already out there all the time. Your best information is not in your mainstream TV. It's right here. It is all, not just right here on our show, but it is all over the place on social media. It's on Twitter. You want to know what's happening in the now? One of the best places to go is to the Twitter feed, because Twitter, in the moment, people are posting from all over the country, all over the world, all the time. And what are they posting? They're letting you know what's going on. Just like before the inauguration, when Donald Trump left the White House, or Joe Biden was inaugurated, they were posting on Twitter way back when, a few years ago, before all this part of the crazy came, right? Up to this date, they were posting all over Twitter. They're telling me, not me personally, but they're posting, tell everybody. They're like, oh, there's trucks out here. They're putting up fences. There's military people here. There's tent cities here. So you will get the God's honest truth of the word about what's going on out there. So your best news media stuff is going to be on those reliable channels that you ask universe for, you ask love for, and these channels will bring you an incredible information, all right, to guide you. Now, not everything is true on them. What do you ask for? It's what we always say. You want to know the truth of anything and everything? What do we say? God's honest truth. Ask God for it. The God's honest truth. Ask love for it. Ask angels for it. God's honest truth. Ask to know what's happening. So there'll be videos that pop up on your feed. You'll know who's full of shit and you'll know who's not. You'll get so much different wisdom from all over the place, what's happening in the now in different areas of the country. Just like Palestine, they didn't even report half of the stuff or like 2/3 really of the stuff that is really going on. All right. With the people, everything's under concealment for multiple different reasons. But before I go all into that, we're going to put that over here for our segment in a little while. And so these are just some of the topics that we can talk about. I have a lot more, okay, in reference to this, such as the CCP and Putin, solar panels on the naval bases here in Virginia, the banking system and the constant changes in our banks, okay? What they're doing is they're getting you ready for this stuff that is coming. They're trying to condition you. So you'd be like, oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's not okay! It's not okay, people! It's not okay. So it is going to be up to you to be the resistance. What is the resistance? It's, just like they posted somebody's ad on my Facebook page, and I want to give credit where credit is due, right? Because the resistance that they speak of in that ad on my Facebook page, you can probably see it up there. Many of you already have. That resistance is not something you join. It is something that you are. It's high-end love energy consciousness. And this is who you guys are. This is who we are. Okay. So it is us that is going to stand up and not do and do whatever highest power of love and our souls guide us to do. That's why we came here. So we will be changing everything that's going on here. So it's exciting times. It's scary for so many of us. There's no question about that. But when you work with love, all the time. That's why we do our show, because this is the greatest tool I or anybody else, as I said before, can give you. The tools to work with love, work with God, work with universe, to make this world your greatest world and your greatest life. And you'll have everything you need and be totally taken care of no matter what. All right. It's about having conversations with higher power, with love, higher knowing. All right. To get all the answers you need and trusting your heart being in your heart. Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about tonight: the healthcare system, some stuff on that, schooling, religion, what's going to go on with that, how to survive in these times, solutions of what to do. And that's the most important thing. Everyone says to me, Lynn, they send me texts and PMs and videos, and they're like, oh my God, what about this? Oh my God, what about that? Can you talk about this? Can you do that? And really, and then they're like, well, what do we do? What do we do? Right? There's cataclysmic events coming, and they're already are happening, and there's black flag events. What you do, and that is most important, is you listen and feel in your heart, because everything that is you will be guided from this space, from this highest power, your love energy connection, your God connection, your universal law connection. And we all have it in us. That is your highest power, your communication, constant knowing, constant listening and doing. Hearing, listening, doing from love, from your heart. And that will lead you through these times. If I said nothing at all tonight, that, and for the rest of your life, and for the rest of your time here, that is the greatest tool I can give you, because your inner knowing and your connection to that is what's going to lead you to everything you need: food, water, gold, friends, your people, supplies, a safe space to live, whatever it is that you need. And let's pray that, and let's ask universe that from love, that it doesn't get to those spaces, so that we have so much of everything we share with everybody, and the whole new world transitions as new energies are constantly coming in of all that is love, that are changing the planet constantly as we speak with the astrological transits. You all know this, right? We've all talked about this to some degree in so many of our shows. Okay, so your heart force, we're going to talk about NATO, what's the deal with that, the U.S. government, what else do we have here, let me see, solar panels on the bases, what's going on with the banks, and I think that pretty much covers a whole bunch of really great topics to talk about for tonight's show in our segment. Okay, but first I want to say hey to everybody, and I just want to say thank you everybody for coming. It's going to be a great show. We're going to have a great time, and we're going to get to the bottom of the God's honest truth of everything, the best tools for these times. Ask and you shall receive. Listen to your heart. Always work with love. Those are the greatest tools for these times. All right, that's what we all have, and this is what's going to lead us through whatever storms are coming, whatever black flag events, and you will know what to do, when to do, and what you call God's time, or the time of universal law, right? That's God's time. Saturn, also governor of universal law in Earth world, governor of law in Earth world. Saturn, the planet Saturn, Capricorn, right? All right, so that energy will guide you. You will know what the right thing to do is in Earth world as you prepare, but always working with love is the key here. All right, this said, thank you everybody for coming. Rachel, who do we have on the show tonight?
We have Dee.
Hey Dee, hey Dee.
And Wendy and Nikki.
All right, Wendy, Nikki, thanks for coming.
We got Angela, Teresa, Sarah Andrews, and Tamika.
Okay, thanks guys. Thanks everybody for coming. Glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for supporting us in all the ways that you guys do. Thank you. We're super, super grateful. This said, what are our questions from next week, or last week rather? What do we got?
We have Tamika from, I think, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, we got Tamika.
She said that she's looking to finally purchase a home this year, and she's wondering what you see regarding the timing.
Yeah. Okay. Hold that thought for 1 minute. The other thing I want to share with you guys is we will always answer your questions, but we reserve your questions when you're not on the show for a time when you're on the show if they're past questions. So let's say you ask a question from tonight and we don't get to it because we don't have enough time. We will always answer your questions. However, if let's say next week you miss the show, we're not going to answer your question on that show until you come on to the show so that you can see the answer and you get it. So we don't have to say, well, that was like 3 weeks ago on 3 shows ago. This way you can have your questions answered, and we also make sure that everybody gets their stuff done in the healthiest, best way, guided by love, right? Okay. All right. So I just want to share that with you so you know too why, if your question is not answered or has not been answered yet, if you haven't been on and you have a question from weeks ago, we have your question here. When you come up, we will bring up your question and we will answer it. Okay. All right. So thanks so much, guys. All right. So the first person was Tamika, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. What we got with Tamika, Ray?
So she's looking to finally purchase a home this year, and she's wondering what you see regarding the timing.
Okay, so this really is great for our segment tonight, a question and answer about these times, psychic question and answer. Tamika, it's going to be, how it's going to work in these times, it's going to be individual and unique to everybody. Each person, as we are all our own God beings. I'm just lighting some sage here for those of you who want to know what I'm up to. So these are great tools to remember for everybody. All right. Meaning you, like all of us, hold on a minute, just get my sage going. You all be guided by your hearts and working with higher power, love, God, universe, angels, whatever you feel you need to identify with it as long as it comes from love, okay? That's primary here, and that you're in your heart. You're intense in the right space. Okay, so you work from that energy and you ask and you shall receive. We've talked about that many, many, many times. So, but as a general rule, in Saturn's Earth world and in Earth world, as the governor of all that happens here in Earth world, let's see. As a general rule, most people shouldn't be buying houses, shouldn't be investing in real estate for the next 2 to 3 years. And there's reasons for that, multiple reasons. Everything is so far overpriced. Houses that are $150,000 are now $350,000, $400,000. I just had a client of mine who sold their house for that much money. And if the sale goes through, we want all good things for her to happen, of course, and for her family. But she did this guided by higher knowing and her heart. So there are exceptions to this rule. As a general rule, depending on your life's destiny and where you're going into the new world in these new times, you have to pick and choose and listen and talk and work with higher power for these answers. For now, I get basically, wait for it, 2013 is going to be a volatile year. I believe that house interest rates are almost like 6-7%. And so to get a mortgage. And so this is just crazy stuff. And then once this happens, the economy tanks, then the houses are going to go down. And then so many people, just like in 2008, are going to be what you call, the houses are going to go down to real value or more in balance with real value. And then what's going to happen is so many people are going to be underwater in their houses and are not going to be able to pay, and the houses aren't going to be worth it. And the government, people, is not going to bail you out. It is not that government anymore. Okay? And that's the biggest thing. If you can wrap your head around anything tonight about our world, our new government, right? Or this world government, this is not your government. If it ever was, it is not anymore, and on a grander scale than ever before. Okay? So they're not going to help everybody out. So what you have to do is you have to go to higher power, higher law, always, with everything you do, now more than ever. So Tamika, if you really feel that this is the right thing to do, I feel like you need to sit. But while you're sitting, it's not like you're not doing anything. Meaning sit and wait. Your soul with higher power will guide you from love to your best house, to the best of everything for you, property, everything you need. And it may not come in the way that you think. I feel like there's some kind of either a gift or a family inheritance or something along those lines, but a property that's coming for you in the future. So if this is what you want, put it out there to universe, because it's on your life path. It's in the cards for sure if you want that. All right. So it might not be that you have to get a mortgage, that you have to buy a house. It may be gifted to you. It may be through a will. It may be through another house, which leads you to something else that you inherit, which brings you the money to buy this other property. And you'll know by the events that happen that you're on the right path, because you'll be working with love. You'll be talking with God or universe or love, right? You'll be talking with higher knowing, and you'll be doing what you need to do to get those answers. And you'll be guided by your heart and the information that comes in. Oh, do I feel this? Sometimes it'll come in words. Sometimes it'll come in visions. Sometimes it'll come in feelings. You know, Tamika, you know. We all know, but not always do we listen. So be wise of this in these times, because you'll know when things start to get all jacked up out here and don't work for you, that you didn't make the right choice, or you did. When things flow with universal law or love energy, when things flow, you are all in the alignment with love for those things to happen. Just like my client that just is in the process of selling her house and is going to rent a house that's way bigger, and her soul is guided by this All right. Now, normally, and we had like an hour and a half appointment about this on a personal level, me and her, and we talked about this quite intensely about what's going on, why you're doing what it is that you're doing in these times. Why do you want this bigger house? Why do you want to pay $4,000 a month of rent? Is this really what's best for you? All this kind of stuff, because this is super important stuff. And while a lot of people don't like to address those things, when we don't address the things that need to be addressed, we fool ourselves, and then we make the choices that are toxic or don't work for us. Okay, so we want to be as honest as possible with ourselves. We go through these bases, so to speak, and we work with God or love, and we be guided by our hearts to make those best choices. Do you see? So this is what's coming in for you. Look around, feel it out, start putting it out there, what you want. I know Nicole Opper is another person who's been looking at houses, right, in these times. But what her soul is really doing, just like me, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know how many years ago, like when you look for a new car, you go new car shopping, you're figuring it out, what you want, what you like, what you don't like. And that's what you're going to be doing. But at the same time, your soul is simultaneously creating what you want to happen and manifest in this reality. So Tamika, right now, 2023 is going to be a dynamite year filled with fantastic rewards through the roof, but it is also going to be with challenges. And the key here is to listen to your heart and work with love, work with God, universe, higher power, all right? And you will make all the right and best choices for you. But as a general rule, I would overall say no because of what's going on. But again, there are exceptions to every rule. Every rule there are exceptions to. Okay, so you have to listen to that, and this is for all of us. But during this time when you don't have a house, you're putting it out there. You ask and you shall receive. You put the house out there, what you want. You start creating it. You start going out there. You're looking for what you want. And remember, the health of your house is super important. You don't want something that's old. You don't want something that's moldy. You don't want something that's got chemicals in it. You don't want something that's going to make you sick. So you want to take into regards, especially hugely, all right, what it looks like in these times, because everything is a huge illusion, massive illusory, massive, all right? And you have to make choices here that are the wisest, best choices for you. So all because it looks good on the outside, there's a lot of houses out there that are, what they call flipped, and they're loaded with mold because they really didn't do the job they needed to do. They did the dollar. And then the people get in there and then they get really, really, really sick. And that is a nightmare that I can tell you firsthand, nobody wants to experience, So, and in these times, it's going to be happening more and more and more, especially with all the stuff that has already happened with the inoculations and the COVID, everybody's health. And it's in the stars, everybody's health. All in the stars. There is a chronic epidemic of being poisoned, being sick. And why would this be? Because we take our health for granted. It is time for us to give a shit about our health. Because your health really is everything. If you don't have your health, what do you got? The big zero. You got nothing. You got nothing. Okay, Tamika. So for now, not right now, but if the opportunity comes in and your soul feels it, you will know. And just like my one client, she went and then everything flowed, instantly. She went away. She went to like a wedding. Okay. She said to the people they want the house. They happen to have all the money for the down payment for the first month rent in the bank. And then all of a sudden they're able to sell their house. And this is what I'm talking about, the flow. There's no fighting anything. There's no question about you're not doing the right thing. All right. But you do have to have your SHIT together with universe. There is no other way for you to do it. And you will know if you don't, because things like the carpet starts to get pulled out from underneath your feet, and that's for all of us, and so, but the more you work with love, the more it will happen in the healthiest, best way, being in that flow. So the answer is look for your house. It will come, and it's about in the now. In the transit. If we looked at your astrology chart, both in all three of the major components that we use for your soul, your progress chart, your subconscious chart, your natal astrology chart, we could find the best times for this to happen into the future. And you can do this work yourself. You can call me. We can do it together. We can do it here on the show. And we may even do this stuff in the show as we've done in the past many times, right? Okay, so, but this will help guide you as to when this will happen in these tumultuous and crazy times. And it will be over and over in the aspects of your astrology chart, in all of these charts, over and over, in all the layers that is you, reflected from your soul, and in all that is God, that is you. Okay. All right. So this said, the answer for now is kind of, it's not a yes or a no. It's really, for now, it's kind of a no. It's a no. But you start putting it out there what you want, and you don't do it until your soul with love shows you and guides you. Now, it may be within the next 2 to 3 years, so it may take a little bit of time, but the opportunity, you put it out there, right? Because I feel your soul needs some time to work on this, to make this happen. Do you see? And so this is what I feel like is going to be happening for you, Tamika. And listen to your heart, and everything will work out fantastic. The key here is don't get freaked out too, as well, about making it happen in the way that you want it to happen, because it doesn't work like that. None of us get to tell God what to do, right? It doesn't work like that. It's in God's time, when it is best from love for everybody. So that's what God's time is when it is best from love for everybody, right? Okay, girl. So you got this, and the more you go with the flow, the more it's going to happen quicker. You put it out there, you clear your blocks, you ask the universe that you're happy no matter what happens from love, and boom, then it'll happen way more quicker. And it may even happen this year, right? But you can't force God. You can't force love. It doesn't work that way. You go with the flow, you work with the energy, and then you have all the power. Okay? All right. Thanks, Tamika. Love you, girl. Thanks. All right. So who's next, Ray? What questions we got from last week, too?
Right now, all of our past questions, the people aren't here right now, so we'll save them for when they pop up.
Okay. All righty. So all of our past questions have been answered, guys. Can I get my water cup here? All right. So this week, then we have this week's questions for our show. And then after we do the show, we will answer any questions that are personal questions to you and your life. Not necessarily, what we don't want to do really is take the questions from your personal life and put them in our show topic, our psychic show question and answer for tonight with these times, right? So if it's like your personal love life, stuff like that, what to do with your kid, over here when they're having problems with somebody in school, we'll talk about those things. Absolutely. All your questions will always get answered as quickly as we possibly can. Sometimes they go to other shows into the future. But for tonight, we're going to now do this segment here on all this fun stuff that's just insane times. Insane times. We're going to do our current affair segment. And so any of those questions that you guys have, we're going to do now, and then we will do your personal questions. Okay, guys? That way we make sure everything gets done in the best way from love. Thanks, God. Thanks. All right, so go ahead. What do we got? Jen?
In terms of the topic
questions?
For tonight?
Yeah, do we have anybody asking any questions yet?
Not yet.
All right. How about you, Sophia, and our live audience? Would you like to start off our questions?
Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So Madeline sent me a video earlier today. I think she might have sent it to all of us about this girl on TikTok talking about the Ohio train derailment.
Uh-huh.
And she was saying that the chemicals that were released from the accident essentially caused acid rain, and there's a big possibility of, I don't know, for it to be to have acid rain. I guess up and down like the East Coast, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it was just in that area, and she talked about how we as a society are not prepared for something like that. So I wanted to know if
the girl talked about that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I wanted to know if you felt like this was going to happen, and what you felt like society would do and how we would handle it.
Okay. Acid rain is a term for chemicals basically that come from fallouts of stuff like what happened in Palestine, right? So Sophia is asking about the acid rain, how we're going to handle stuff like this into the future, right? Mm-hmm. All right, because Sophia's friend Madeline sent out a Twitter video where the girl talked about how acid rain is going to be all over the East Coast of the United States because of what has happened in Palestine. But here's the deal with weather patterns. It's going to go everywhere and be everywhere. That's part of the grand design of love energy that is God that controls, or I don't want to say controls, let's say creates the weather. The weather patterns themselves are designed to dissipate and get rid of things like this. Because if they are not so toxic, what happens? Then they are more likely to be alleviated or less poisoned by the rain and the traveling and the dispersity of those chemicals. Do you see what I'm saying? As let's say if you had a whole cup like this and you drink the cup of all poison, right? Then if you did that, then you will basically have, you'll be really, really sick. Right? But if I spilt the cup and I didn't realize it and I drank the last sip, then I wouldn't be not necessarily, but there's a chance that I won't be as sick. You see? But the nature of God is that is how the weather works. Do you see? The weather and nature of God has the ability to heal and cleanse everything. And this goes with climate control or trying to control the climate, trying to control the weather, trying to control nature like the New World Order is trying to do, right? This goes with all of that stuff because you can't control God. You can't control love. Where there is love, there is a way. And that is true of nature. Things morph, things change. If you look at, let's say, Chernobyl, all these years later from that Russian nuclear explosion, there's animals there. It's teeming with life. How did that happen? Do you see? How did that happen? So this too, in time, will dissipate and change. All right. But there's other factors behind the whole dynamics here going on, right? With this whole train rail derailment. Okay. All right, like Chernobyl is a different beast, but through those things, it doesn't mean that there's not chemicals and things that we can't come together to help pick up and clean up faster and work on faster. But the planet and all that is love, that is God, is designed to what? Just like we are, heal ourselves. So everything that scientists and the New World Order and all their genius can never get to, this high-end, universal galaxy of all that is God, or all that is love. What do we call that in Sagittarius? What is it called? Galactic center of all that is God. It's called the galactic center, right? Yeah. There's no way they can get to that space because their intent is so freaking toxic. They're trying to kill everybody, enslave everybody, do all this crazy stuff that is so toxic that they can't get to these answers or understand all that is God, that is love, no matter how intelligent they are or try to be. This is Atlantis. This is the very same things that brought down Atlantis. Do you see? Yeah. Yeah. Don't believe me, just ask. Ask universe. Feel it in your heart. You'll know the answer. So when you tell me this, right now, it is huge. This is a huge epidemic, a huge, so to speak, a huge accident, a huge problem. The Palestine, Ohio derailment with all these chemicals in this train wreck. It is a nightmare. There's no doubt. But make no mistake about it. All right. Make no mistake about it. All right. There is underlying forces that created this to happen. And these are your black flag events. There's a reason this is happening. And it is all governed by darkness. Okay. So you guys know, and there's specific words that I'm using so that hopefully we won't get flagged on here for like the 9,000th time or them taking us off of YouTube later. Funny, not funny. Okay. So, but you know how they do. They keep our numbers down the same way because we talk about stuff that's the God's honest truth and it's very controversial. And I don't give a shit what people think. We have to come from love and teach people the God's honest truth and the right way, the best way, meaning the best way to do everything from love. And that's what we do. And that's why we're talking about this because it needs to be addressed. We can't just listen to the television tell us that it's fine and you can go back to your homes now. In fact, I think I posted on my Facebook page for all those people from that derailment, to get out of there and don't go back. Don't go back because right now you can't go back. really. All right. Because a lot, and you'll see all kinds of video segments out there on the internet, and some will even be in the mainstream news, not so much because they're trying to hide everything that they're doing, because this is more of the plan to poison us. This is a strategic hit. Make no mistake about it. A strategic hit. If you look at it, where all the waterways and all the stuff it gets into, and then you look at the patterns of where the weather goes, but you see they can't anticipate all that is God, that is love. They can't, because they're not in that space, right? When you have infinite darkness in your soul, you don't get those powers. You don't get those powers. That's not how it works, right? Yeah, you can do this and you have their own dark energies and all this shit, but love wins. Love wins. Love is all-knowing. It is wisdom, and wisdom trumps everything. It is about the very things that I told you to do on our show and all the time. Working with love, working with your heart, working with higher power, God, universe, love. Working with that power is where all your answers are, right? In the moment, in the now, and into the future, and forever. It has always been this way. But now we are in such hardcore detrimental times, and this energy is forcing us into our hearts, because the people are going to come together. So they're really, Sophia, you take the precautions guided by higher knowing depending on where you live. Right? Like I've had some people say in Pennsylvania, I think this gentleman named Jake Walker was on Facebook, and he sometimes comes to our show and our events, and he was saying how he saw some of the clouds in Pennsylvania from, gray smoke, and then Ontario, Canada too, all from this derailment. So it's going to be everywhere, and it is up to us to protect us, and the people will be coming together more and more, because there's going to, I would say unfortunately, or I should really say horrifically, there's going to be more events like this, and this is an accident, that's an accident, nobody's taking responsibility, the EPA isn't out here, it's like the CDC, it's like, come on, get a scope on are you really here to help people? Because I don't think so. Yeah. And what is the truth? You ask universe, you ask love, and you will know what to do, when to do, how to do for your best well-being. I can tell you that's in the 5 days since this accident, universe is like, you got 5 days to get a shit ton of water, a shit ton of supplies. Everything that you need is what they said to me for these times. And this isn't to create a panic. All right. This is for me personally, what universe is guiding me to for whatever is going to come down this way and surrounding areas. And then I'm going to listen, and I'm going to do what all the voices and all the visions and all the wisdom I get by talking to universe, talking to God, right? And working with this energy. All right. And anything that comes in because I ask questions. Okay, universe, how do I help the people? What do we do? What do we need? How do we get this food? What do we got to do about this here? And your soul, your heart, your God connection will guide you. You'll get dreams. You'll get visions. You'll have knowing. You'll feel it in your heart, right? You will feel it in your heart. Just like I talk about the inoculations. For those of you who got the inoculations and those of you who didn't, because you all know what I'm talking about. Being in your heart, right? Being in your heart. What did you feel like in that moment when they said, oh, you got to get inoculated to save yourself from the COVID shot? Did you feel like that was the truth? And did you do it? Do you see? And then people say, well, I had to do it because of my work, and I had to do it because I wanted to travel, and I had to do it because my new boyfriend did it. And no! Fucking no! That's not how it works, man. You do it from your heart. You listen to your heart. Is this what you should do? Should I get inoculated? Should I not? And you all know the answer to that based on your heart, especially in these times. You see what's happening. And now it's like busting the doors off of these current affairs in these times. What's happening in the world is people are waking the fuck up. And they're getting it. They're getting it. Truly. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Yeah, because too much of this, it's on the New World Order Forum. It's on the WEF. It's in everywhere you look. It's out there. It's in the books that we talked about. This is actually happening. So now the question becomes, is what happens with us? What do we do? By working with higher power is how you know how to handle everything. You prepare in Saturn's Earth world with supplies as quickly as possible. And what's really important in these times, wherever you are, if you're 5 minutes from the site or you're 100 miles from there or 20 miles, and wherever you are, you want to look at your food, see where it really comes from. So you make sure, as best to your knowledge and wisdom, that the food that you're eating and the stuff that you're getting is either canned in an area that's not there, isn't in the tributaries, in the streams, and you can ask universe where that food comes from, ask for the truth, because some companies will say, well, it's bottled here, but they won't tell you that it's that this is where the water comes from in the product or where the stuff comes from. So it's a new world now of really having to do your research about what kinds of stuff is in the food that you eat, starting about 5 to 7 days from the time of that accident. This is what universe said to me. That's why they're telling me to stockpile even more water than before, foods, everything, because it's best to be safest. And may we not need this stuff. I mean, we already use this stuff to help our people now, for resources. You guys all know that. So if you need anything, holler. And this is what's coming. We are going to be helping each other, like food pantries, food banks, going out there and helping each other in these times. And that's being in your heart. And there's nothing that has all the power like being in your heart, like love. If you remember back in the World Trade Center, that's during those times, that's what brought the people together, regardless of the secret conspiracy theories behind all of this shit. When tough times happen and people are hurting and families die and people die and they say, well, that was fake or this is fake, but there are real people who died here. That's not fake. There's really being in your heart. So the truth is there is truth in everything, and not everything that you hear in conspiracy theories or in what people tell you or what science tells you is the God's honest truth. The only way you get there is by asking for it. Do you see? Yeah. So you're going to have to check the foods on all your labels, where it comes from. Be sure about it as much as possible. The same thing. You can't go out to eat in areas and in different places. You have to be sure you're on it. And the best way, if you don't have the time to do all this crazy stuff and you start going, oh, I can't do that, and I can't do this, and I can't do that, you ask love, is this safe? Is it okay for me to go out to eat? Is this a good product for me to eat? You ask God, you ask universe, and you will feel in your heart. If you feel like you're in a store and you start piling stuff in your cart and you go, yeah, something's not right with that stuff, I don't feel good about it, then you take it the hell out of your cart and you ask love for the best alternative for you. Do you see? You have all the power. This is why what we do is so important. This is a massive way how we're all going to protect ourselves into the future from all of this, because there's going to be a lot more events like this. And the only way, or in the healthiest, best way that you're going to have all the solutions is by working with love. That's it. Right? So, but they will show you, they will tell you what you need to do, what you need to do, when you need to do it, how you need to do it, and all the things that you need. The people, they will bring you, they meaning love energy, God, universe, bring you everything you need in these times, including for this train derailment, because there's going to be tons of people we're talking about. There's dead chickens and their livestock is sick. Their animals are doing strange things. This one guy had foxes that were sick, and these are all videos that are out there, and you feel it out. You know that all these people can't be saying all this shit, and that it can't not be what? There can't not be truth in it. Truth in it. Same thing, I saw some really wild videos about the rainbows on the water, the snow in Ontario. You know what I'm talking about? The snow in Ontario being what was it? Looking like, having chemicals all in the streets, on the top of stuff. Horrible, horrible stuff. So it's going everywhere. And, see, that's what they fail to realize. It just doesn't poison us. It doesn't poison the people in that 100-mile radius. It poisons everybody. Everybody. So they have to be very careful, about what they're trying to do, because these are the games of darkness that they're playing. Okay. But you and me and all of us who are in our hearts, God, high and love energy people. All right. Higher knowing God people. All right. I don't care what religion you are. It's about being in your heart. Religion is not what matters. It's being in your heart and doing the right thing from love. Spirituality is not what matters, right? I don't care what your beliefs are. It's about being in your heart from love. That's where all your power comes from. And working with that power. That's it. That's all you really need. Truly. Okay? Doesn't mean I'm denouncing anything like religion. No. This is just simply what you need in these times. Being in your heart. Simply. Okay? So, Sophia, that's how we're going to handle this. Just like we're going to listen to God, we're going to listen to love and what they tell us, and we're going to feel it in our heart. So it's going to be different brushing your teeth. It's going to be a different showering. And these things are all, parts of the things that are already happening there in Palestine, Ohio, and in other places, but they should move out of there for now. And it's a shame because these people have lost everything. So people will come together and bring finances, places for them, and God, may it be so. Love may it be so. Do you see what I'm saying? And so putting all of these things together for the people is what the people will be doing to help each other. Do you see? And, but right now this is the first time when you have first time experiences and going through all this chaos and all this stuff, it makes it that much more challenging. It's kind of like anything you do in your life. If you do something over and over and over, right, you become an expert at it. You get really, really good with it, right? But when you first experience something or you try to do something, you're kind of like a deer in headlights, you're learning how to do it. But the more you pray on it, or the more you ask love, the more you work with God, love, universe, angels, the more, and be in your heart, the more the solutions are going to come simply, easily, and you're going to be in the flow of all that is God into these times. Higher vibrational love energy in these times. Do you see? Okay, so does that answer your question?
Yeah.
So really, if you're afraid of acid rain poisoning and what's going to happen, acid rain is really a term for all kinds of poisoning in the world, really. You know what I mean? It's a specific term for that, but it comes in multiple different chemicals and ways and times, and you could say jet fuel can create acid poisoning, right? Because it falls out of the sky, all kinds of crazy toxic stuff that has to end in this world, and this is why this is happening. So while they think that they're going to be destroying this and killing this and taking over us and making us slaves and all those crazy hypotheses and conspiracy theories of what darkness thinks it's going to do, right? Really, it is love that has all the power, and that is what we get guided to in the now. How you know what to do, when to do, where to do, what not to do, and everything, including what you say, who you're with, how to do anything and everything. You ask in the moment, and you will know. Do you see? And what happens in your reality will also tell you how you know. Okay? What happens in your reality, because it will guide you, like the Black Flag events. Like the people came together in the World Trade Center from love to help each other. People calling each other, hey, are you okay, man? Hey, are you okay? I remember I couldn't get through to my sister who lived in D.C. at the time when the Pentagon blew up, and I think her boyfriend worked there. And my brother worked through the World Trade Center during that time. And that one morning he woke up and decided that he was going to take the ferry instead of the train, and that literally saved his life. Do you think that was an accident? Absolutely not. It is about your heart connection. My brother doesn't have to believe what I believe, neither does my sister or anyone else. It is your heart, your soul is genius, and it knows the way out of these deals. And there's nothing that they can ever do to you that you don't have the tools to work with, to get through, get by. So when you are afraid, clear it out, because you have everything you need for whatever comes down the road, and you have all the power, you guys. You do. We all do. And what happens is, from this high-end love energy space, we all come together. There's going to be layers of society in these times, because they're going to try to control people and put up cameras. What do you think's going to happen with those cameras? There's going to be groups and bands of people who are going to get BB guns and shoot those fucking cameras down. You know it. You know it. Because the surveillance is not going to happen. They're going to fight it. And this is worldwide. This is worldwide. They're going to fight that kind of stuff, Right? So these things are coming. Same thing with currencies. There's going to be trade and barter. There's going to be trade and services. There's going to be a whole new world of doctoring, a whole new world of schooling, a whole new world of, trading with gold, trading with silver. And then there'll be digital coins as we deal with this, as we get through the crap of everything that we have to go through. And this isn't 5 minutes. If you know anything about Saturn that governs Earth world, universal law, all of us know that Saturn's is Father Time, and it takes time. Right? It takes time, all right, to make anything great happen. You don't get all the gifts that we have because we didn't do this work from lifetimes. It's the very same reason that I said, bring your hell to me, because I've already been through it. There is no hell that you can take. That's why we are the resistance, because we already done the hell shit. We already done the hellfire. Do you see what I'm saying? We know what that's like from us. So there's nothing they can bribe us with, because we already know that journey. And we are here to not fold. We are here to work with love. We are here to instill all these things. And so when one person says, well, I don't have any power. You have all the power. All the power. All of it. You do. I do. And then as you work from love, universe will bring us all together, and it will just flow, which is exactly the energy that we're talking about. And this energy will come to the stars, right? The stars meaning the now transits in the astrology of the whole world. Do you see what I'm saying? The energy is going to be coming. And it's already happening. Everything in the universe, the law of love, all that is God, is constantly always changing. And it is constantly energy. All right, that is always moving, always changing. Do you see? So all of these things are all part of the grand design. You can't fool God, and you can't tell God what to do, and God is everything, so it knows everything. God knows better, or love knows better than we know ourselves. Do you see? Yeah. All right. So we have all the power, but these are those things that are happening and that are coming in that are going to happen. You know, the same thing. If the hospitals, if you can't get the care that you need when you're sick from hospitals, you're going to go to alternative medicines. Absolutely. And you're going to find those avenues because you're going to ask love what to do. Do you see? You're going to ask love what to do. And then suddenly you'll know where to go, what to do, how to do, when to do it, and you'll be fine. And you'll always be ahead of any of the darkness and any of the crazy stuff coming because you say, okay, God, okay, love, what do we do now? How do we handle this? And you will get visions beforehand, just like everyone knew when JFK was going to get shot. Everybody, if you interview them, they knew that he was going to be shot. All right. They knew beforehand that was going to happen because that's in the psychic world energy. When you get big shit events like that, we're all connected. We all know. Just like you knew when this COVID stuff started and went down, you knew it was bad news. You know what I mean? You were just like, yeah, that don't feel good to me at all. You knew because you know, because your soul is genius. Your soul is your God connection to all that is God, that is love. Your heart is the prime source of that. Do you see? Okay. So this said, answers your question and then some, right? Okay. Rachel, what time we got?
8:05.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. All right. So does anybody else have any questions? Like Sophia started off our questions with all this crazy stuff going on. You got a lot of great information there. And if you missed it, you can always watch our replay here. And you can also watch it on our YouTube as well. Okay, Jennifer, what do you have? Do you have a question? Any questions from anyone?
Not currently. I was wondering, though, like, what people should say to their children, like, if they have younger kids.
When you say what they should say to their children.
Yeah, they're, like,
with
freaking
what?
out about this.
About the Palestine stuff?
Yeah.
The train wreck stuff?
Yeah.
What they should say to their children?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they don't need to know all the whole dynamics of the darkness and all that stuff because that just creates more worry. As a parent, you ask universe to speak through you from love and to handle this from love, right? And then the exact words that are best for your child to know what to do, how to do, when to do, and the information that your kid should receive will come through you to your child. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have to, meaning you or anybody, doesn't have to say, oh my God, this is darkness and this is what happened. No, there's a train wreck and it's toxic. There's a lot of toxic chemicals. So we're going to work with love to change this. And we're going to do everything we can to create a better world so this doesn't happen in the future. Stuff like that will come through you. But they don't need to know the hype and the darkness because they are not in their space and their psyche and their souls in these times. For the most part, in law of universe and Saturn's Earth world and being human in this society, they're not equipped for that way of speaking to them because all that's going to do is make them freak the fuck out. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Like the Cold War, like the kids who grew up during the Cold War, me and other people who are close to my age, you know what I mean? And before that, right, before my age, they know like they were afraid of a nuclear bomb and all that stuff. And I can tell you there were nights that I didn't sleep because I was so worried. And my father used to call me a worrywart. And what is worry? Fear. We don't need, in these times especially, we don't need to instill these children with any fear, because that's not going to help them. It is love that has all the answers. So ask love to speak through you with these difficult questions in these difficult times. You don't need to tell them the Hollywood is dark and this is yucky. They will also come to you. Just like one of my kids, they know they are no stupid beings. Your children are whole entire souls who have many lifetimes just like you, are genius. Your soul is genius. So if they come to you and they ask these questions, ask love to speak through you. And whatever information you give them will be the best from love. And there will be times when they will ask some challenging questions. I remember, to give you an example, my one daughter, Madeline, right? I told her that her father had a bunch of my stuff, that I never got returned when we were divorced. And I didn't harp on it, right? And there was one of the things was a bicycle that my boyfriend boyfriend before him had bought me. It was a brand new bike. And somehow I never got that bike back. And it was supposed to be returned to me. But that never happened. And what ended up happening is the truth wasn't necessarily told about the bike. And my kid came to me after a few years of listening to her dad saying that it's his bike. And she said to me, Mom, you remember that bike that you told me you had that was yellow and gray? She goes, I think that you did tell me the truth and that maybe my dad didn't tell the truth. Do you see? And that's what she said to me. She said, because I think he has that bike and I saw it. And you told me what it looks like and I put it together because they're not stupid. Your children know. So do your best always not to rag and say their fathers are liars and things like that. That's not what I'm talking about here. That's not why I'm talking about this. I'm sharing this wisdom with you because you know and your children know they are hooked up to highest knowing of God and love. All right. This is why they say the magical things that they say that are so incredible and why we love them so much because they're an open book. They're wide open to all the love and all the magic of God because that's the nature. They were just born. This is part of the evolution and their growth in humanity as children. Incredible stuff. They have an inner knowing just like me and you, and it works from the very beginning of time. Always. So my kid literally said to me, I didn't have to tell her dad was a liar. All I said was that her dad had my bike and I wanted to get it back from him and I still don't have it. And the whole time he's telling her that bike is his. And one day she asked me what it looked like and she said, I know he has your bike, Mom. Yeah. You know, she said, and I know that he's lying. And I said, okay. I said, if that's what you feel, I didn't say your dad's a liar. I said, okay, if this is the truth and this is what you feel, here is what I'm going to tell you and she was all upset because who wants to think that their dad is a liar? And that doesn't make him a liar. That means he just didn't tell the truth about this one particular thing that was a literal truth in Earth world. We can get to truths of everything into the future. And that'll be like a whole entire, probably 5 shows for Christ's sake. But for this segment of what we're talking about, with the truth here, with her father, okay, with this bicycle, she knew, she had an inner knowing that it was my bike, and she knew that. And I didn't have to say that he was a liar. It was her who came to me, and that doesn't make him a liar. It means that he lied in that moment. It's her who came to me, and then she felt terrible. Right? And this is what I'm talking about with kids. This is why you want to be super wise. Ask love to speak through you. Ask love to handle it. Just like I did in this time with these stories that I'm telling you. Okay? So what she did is she said, with this bike, we just said what she said. And hold on one second. I'm going to get a drink. And she knew he didn't tell the truth and she got all upset about it. And I said, Madeline, I said, here is the deal. The cool thing about this, I know you're upset about your dad lying or with this situation. I said, but here's the deal. This is the greatest thing because you can choose not to have those things in you and not to be like that in you. And this is your heart showing you this in your reality. Is this who you want to be? Is this what you want to do? And not that your dad is bad, but this gives you the gift of changing and who you are, possibly if you felt like lying or that you wanted to lie about things. You have the power to now see this in people like your parents who everybody thinks have all the right ways of being, which isn't really the truth. Right? But you have to be guided by your heart to see the truth. But this gives you the ability to see in Earth world your choices and the choices that you make. Do you want to lie to people about those things or about anything? And how does that make you feel as a person? Is that who you want to be? And your heart is showing you this through your dad as this one example in this reality. And now you can choose to be a better person with this. You see? So this energy here that I'm talking about with my daughter, right? From way back when, because this is years ago. This is when she was like, 8 or 9, maybe. So she wasn't that small, but wise enough to get it. And so always. So this is incredible wisdom. These are tools that you guys can use, and they'll always come in naturally when you ask universe to speak through you from love and to handle it from love. Whether it's with my sister when we're having a battle, whether it's with my kid, meaning when we don't get along, or whether it's lying with solutions for anything and everything. You will always have the best communication, always. Ask love to speak through you and ask love to handle it, especially with sticky stuff. You know what I mean? Stuff that you don't want to call her dad a liar. You don't want to say he's shitty, even though you may have those feelings and that it's toxic or whatever. You want to do the right thing from love, and you don't want to get your personal toxic crap in there, right? You want to do that, so you clear that out and you ask love to speak through you and love to handle it. And there you go. Okay? So great wisdom for these times for everybody. Does that make sense to you, Jem?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Do we have anyone else?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Rachel.
I do have a question.
All right. We're getting Rachel has a question.
So I was reading earlier about how, and I think we talked about it on the show before.
Yeah.
About how over the last year to 2 years, there's been a bunch of fires at all these food factories across the country. There's been fires in Canada, and there's really no explanation for them. Oh, it's a grease fire. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. And the person whose book I was reading was talking about how these are planned events to hurt our food chain, to disrupt the people and everything. And I think you've said that as well. Yep. And then I know with the train wreck going on, I think there's been 4 or 5 train derailments this month that have leaked different chemicals. Just East Palestine, Ohio was the biggest one. And so I'm wondering what you feel in all of this, and if you feel or when you feel the perpetrators that are orchestrating these events will kind of step into the light and everybody will really see what's going on. It won't just be these hidden attacks and these undermining all of this.
Well, this is going to go on for a while. This is going to go on for a while because humanity is hard learners.
Yeah.
It is what it is, right? That's how you get enlightenment for the most part. As a general rule, again, Saturn's Earth world, man, 73 to 78%. We learn the hard way through great suffering. And that's what's gonna, I could say, unfortunately, in my humanitarian space, I can say that's what it's gonna take. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So they're paying off all these people, just like they used to pay people to go around the country with the riots and the Black Lives Matter stuff, everything from that to the LGBTQ, all of that, and all the rules that they're instilling in the school system. So they're really working to make this their toxic, to destroy everything, to make the people, not be able to come together kind of a thing. But the people will come together. Where there's God, where there's love, there's a way. So they are doing this, but there's always a solution with higher knowing. Do you see? So it's not something we should be afraid of. It's something we should be aware of. And then we work with love, universe, God, right? We ask, how do we do this? What do we need to do? Where is the safest food supplies? How do we stop this? And then we ask universe to bring those people in. Bring the people in. Bring the ways to be free of this now, please. And because we all pray, we all ask universe, we all ask love for all these great solutions and the best solutions across the board to change all this darkness, to stop all this darkness, to bring in this new world government from love, right? And it's not going to be your traditional government. All you who got your son in the 10th house, who are our people, and I'm your people, like me, I got my son in the 10th house, right? Yeah, son in the 10th house is politics. So get ready. We're not playing here, right? A whole new world of politics, because I couldn't imagine myself in the politics that you got going on here, because it's not in the way that you think, right? Politics is working with people, working together, coming up with solutions that are for the people, by the people, from love, if you think of it in a different way. It's about new world politics, just like there's a new world Hollywood. It's us. It's all of us people coming together doing humanitarian work. It's all the people who won't sign their souls over to darkness. It's all of us, the resistance, right? Yeah. And this whole energy that is all of us is the new Hollywood, because we're going to go around, we're going to do what it takes to change the world, and the people will love us, not meaning us personally, whoever is doing this work to change all these things. Do you see? Because that's what really matters in the world of love. The new world famous is completely different. Just like I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that guy Tom MacDonald, I like some of his stuff, right? And he talks about the darkness, crazy stuff, you know? And it doesn't mean that people who are part of darkness can't change and decide not to be that darkness.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So there's a whole bunch of dynamics with the free will of all that is God. And infinite change is always happening and coming. And if we're afraid, we ask love to release that and change that and show us the best way to be, the best way to do this, the best way to handle this, to bring everything we need. And the more we all work with love, the more we change everything out here. And we change the whole dynamics of this. And it's coming. It's already happening. And the people are waking up and they're seeing the truth. And things like sports stars. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys seen that Damar Hamlin?
Yes.
Yeah, in his Antichrist jacket at the Super Bowl, the guy who had the heart failure and then
got for prayers to save
and
his
was
life.
Asking for prayers to save his life, and then wears a jacket that like symbolizes the Antichrist to the Super Bowl, and you're like, holy shit, how does that happen? Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, this is the crazy of the toxic world that we all are living in, really, truly. So, you know, that this stuff is going to continue to happen. But where there's God, where there's love, there's a way. So, and one of the things that comes in for this is that there's going to be hidden, like, what would you call it? Buildings. And just like you said to me, right? There, whether it's a storage unit facility or an air hangar, there's going to be all this kind of indoor growing, indoor raising animals, keeping the animals and things free from this darkness. And it's coming and it's going to happen, right? So it's going to be incredible stuff. And when you work with love or work with God, universe protects you infinitely. So there will be places that, and people and new solutions that are coming out, and it's already happening. Okay. But we have to just constantly work with love as much as possible. That's it. And it's so easy. It's so easy, you know, and this is how we fight that darkness, no doubt. So this is some of the ways that they're going to be doing. They're going to be doing indoor gardens and indoor, greenhouses, but things are going to be hidden. Things are going to be concealed. There's, same thing with animals, right? Same thing with animals. So new solutions, new ways, all these things are coming to change all this, both in earth world. And the more we pray or work together, ask and you shall receive with love, coming from love. Okay, the more we change everything and create the greatest world. Do you see?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so any questions that you see there from everybody out here? Come on, guys, come on. Tamika, are you the only questioner today?
Apparently so.
Just messing, girl.
She's asking what different ways you can prepare for the next recession that's on the rise right now.
Okay, yeah, because it's not even, I heard a line today on one of the things that Universe guided me to in the videos, Tamika. And it was something about, it's not the recession that you should be afraid of. It's the fact that there's not going to be any food. Do you see? So, I mean, there was already, I think Jeremiah Babe talked about it, how in California, he was saying something about Walmart and other stores like that gearing up for having less. Well, what stores gear up to have less? Only one's controlled by higher darkness, right? Only one's controlled by darkness, really. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Why would any store think that we're not going to have the product when their job is to bring the product to the people? It makes no sense. So when he said that, that's telling you that there's not going to be stuff on the shelf because they're not going to be buying it. Why? Because there's going to be less people. Like what do they know that you don't? Do you see? What do they know, Tamika, that you don't? Do you see? So, there's all kinds of darkness within this, as we know. The deal is for the recession, you want to have, and for everything that comes, you want to have as much cash as possible. For what's going to happen with the banks and what is already happening. All right. It's already in movement. And I can give you multiple examples of the chaos because they keep switching up and changing everything. And what they're doing is they're changing the rules. They're telling you have to do this. They're telling you can't do this because they're acclimating you to your new slave society. Their new slave society. So, like I went to the bank, and this is Navy Federal Credit Union. The girl at the Navy Federal Credit Union, all right, which is, I know, it's government, basically. All right. And they used to have the best rates in the old world. They used to have the best rates, the best deals, the best of everything. I went there today with a $2.61 check. right? That I just thought, what the hell? I'll just cash this and go. And that's the reason I got it in the mail. I bought it there to see what would happen. And they said to me, we're sorry, we don't cash any checks unless they're Navy Federal checks. And I was like, what? I'm like, what? I'm like, what bank doesn't cash a check? She's like, oh, and I'm like, you people change your fucking rules every other day. Every other day. Yeah, you don't get the money for 4 or 5 days. You can't have this money. You don't get this for 2 weeks. And now they're telling me that they don't take checks that aren't theirs. That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, either maybe this was the girl's issue, right? Meaning maybe she wasn't a great communicator. She didn't understand the rules. But literally what she said to me is this $2.61 check, I wasn't allowed to cash. And this is about them making me conform to their rules. All right. So what do? I'm like, okay, you want to play the game? I'm like, okay, so what do we do then? We can't cash this check here at this bank. You have many banks. You have 10 banks if you need to. You have 5 banks. And you go to different banks for different reasons, for different rules at different times. And that's how you deal with their crazy shit. Because there's banks that will give you overdrafts. There's banks that will not. There's banks that charge you $20 fees. There's banks that charge you $36 fees. There's banks that give you free money. Free money never, now remind you, there's never any free money, meaning, oh, open a checking account here with direct deposit and we'll give you $100 or we'll give you $300. But you always want to be weary of that shit. But this is the stuff that's going on. But the more banks you have, the less problems. Now, I don't mean 30 banks. Don't be ridiculous, right? Ask Universe the best number for you and start having multiple banks. That's going to protect you across the board in multiple ways. Because if 2 of the 3 banks that you have close down, well, now you only got the one to go to. And then if there's a massive closure, right? This bank might not have money. You can't get money from this ATM. You can't get money from that ATM. So you are protecting yourself in these times. And this is the wisdom that God, universe, love has guided me to share with you. So this is brilliant that you talked about this, Tamika. How do we prepare for these things? Because this is huge. So I gave him my check. I said, well, what do I do? She goes, well, you can deposit it. I said, fuck it. It's $2.61, right? I'm like, okay, I'll deposit it. But the whole wisdom with that whole experience, right, is God showing me what is the new rules here at the Navy Federal today. And who knows, it could be different rules at the Wells Fargo. It could be different rules at the Fulton Bank. It could be different rules at, I don't know, another bank down the road, Dollar Bank, whatever bank it is, okay? So be wise. Have multiple banks, all right? Have lots of cash. Now, have a cash stash, right? Wisdom says you don't keep everything in one place. You have multiple places. And only you know where your most valuable shit is. Loose lips sink ships. Now more than ever in these times, right? Just like you stand up in the rebellion and they're more likely to come for you if you're well known or you're part of their darkness where they have designs on you. Do you see what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons they attack some of the people that they attack so hard, or they try to destroy them. It's about darkness pacts that were broken. Okay, because with God you have all the power, and the darkness can't force you because you have no agreement with that darkness. Do you see what I'm saying? As crazy as it sounds, it's how it works. But when you break away from that darkness, okay, that's when you tend to get in a whirlwind storm of being attacked over and over and over and over. For example, a really good example like that is Donald Trump. Him getting attacked over and over and over and over. And there's some other people too. I'm just trying to think of who those people are, but that are high-end political figures, or that you've seen that are going to be attacked or have been attacked, that stand up to this. So you will see that. I'm using Donald Trump as an example, okay, because he is one person who is really, they really put that dude through a blender. I mean, really. But without getting too much into the Donald Trump stuff and saying he's one thing or the other, that's not what this is about. But I'm just using that as an example of how the darkness, will go for people's throats. And it's the same thing as the resistance, it's a variation of the same thing of the resistance from the January 6th events, that where there was that, protests and all that crazy stuff happened, and they ended up throwing a lot of people in jail, and really those people didn't do anything. But this is the new world of darkness, right? Anything that is in opposition to them is going to run the risk of these kinds of things happening, like Donald Trump, the protesters at the White House, right? Because I thought about going in universe. God was like, don't go. And I was like, okay, I got it. I'm not going, to that, but way back when, that was one of the things I considered doing. But again, the universe is like, no, we need you to do this. And I'm like, okay. So when universe speaks to you, you listen. Okay. Best wisdom, the best wisdom always from your heart. All right. So let me see where we're going with this now. So Tamika, what you want to do is not tell people with the dollars. You don't tell people where your money is. You want to have as much of a stash of cash as you can. You want to have gold. You want to have silver. You want to have larger pieces. You want to have smaller pieces. You want to have fractional. You want to have food. You want to have water. You want to have all kinds of protection supplies, self-defense supplies, supplies in case they shut the electricity out, supplies where you can charge stuff. A solar generator would be great. And they're really not as much as people think, right? But do your research, do your homework, ask the universe to bring you to all of these things. I mean, these are all the things to prepare for these times and then some. Okay. And community, that's us. We're all part of this same community locally and across the board. Okay. What's cool about the internet, that's how the people can come together, share their wisdom. Hey, here's what's happening in the Netherlands. Here's what's happening over here. Just like with the farmers in the Netherlands. Isn't that it? The Netherlands, they're shutting down the farmers and taking their property because they're doing their best, this darkness, to stop all of it, right? But God, where there's God, there's a way, right? Love is all the power and you can't beat it. But you always prepare in earth world from higher knowing for these times. So that, great, if you have infinite gold, you have infinite silver, but I'm not talking about stocks. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. There are people who want to invest in that. You follow your heart always. And if you feel that what I'm telling you is good wisdom and guidance, right? Because I don't give out, I'm not a financial person, just like I'm not a traditional doctor in earth world, right? I go with highest knowing of love to help people. And everything that I share with you is stuff that I employ and do myself. And where do I put my stuff? I ask universe what to do, when to do, how much, and what not to do. And I make sure, right, that I have my shit together from love. Okay. And I listen and I do from those spaces, because you don't want to have your gold and silver or your valuables in a safety deposit box in the bank. The bank closes, you don't get your money, and they will take your money. So your best wealth is physically in earth world. It has always been through the beginning of time that it is the hardest stuff to take. It's going to be a lot harder for you to rip this pad out of my hand than it is if that pad was a digital pad on the internet. You just erase that shit. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and this is what they're going to do with your money in the bank. So start looking into converting it over, but do your homework, people, so you have the best rules or ways to do things for you, so that you don't get caught in the fuck storm of your own fears to create and manifest toxic stuff. Okay. Ask love to clear those things. You do your spiritual stuff. You do your spiritual work. You talk to universe, get guided by higher knowing, right? Yeah. Always. Okay. So, you want to stock up on anything and everything, toothpaste, toothbrushes, vitamins, minerals, herbs, oils, tourniquets, ace bandages, toothpaste and teeth cleaning solutions and things like that. All the stuff that people are going to need in these times, as well as stuff for taking care of you and planting and food and all this stuff for trade. The more you have stuff to sustain you overall, the more you can share with the people. And, and may none of this craziness ever happen, right? However, if it does, you will be ready. Okay. And if it doesn't, then you can share all the wealth that you have with the world, because that's what's going to happen anyways in the future. From love, it is already happening. When you have infinite amounts of everything from love, you share with the world. You see, this is the difference between Hollywood and the people like us and the sports stars who have billions of fucking dollars. It's because they're ruled by the darkness. They really are slaves of darkness, right? If they weren't, then they'd be real humanitarians, helping everybody, starting with the people in their own family, meaning the people in their own country, and everybody from love. Do you see? It wouldn't be none of this games of billions of dollars these people have, Elon Musk included. He's going to tell you that the New World Order is bad. Get a load of Elon Musk. He's the grandfather of AI. Let's not be stupid, people. It's not what people say. It's what people do. Elon Musk is standing out here saying, oh, you guys better get ready. AI can be really bad. It's going to be a bad scene. And he's making everybody, he's trying to love him. When the truth is, don't you think that's bizarre? That he's like a master inventor of AI? And don't think for a second that he isn't a massive part of this darkness, because he is. He absolutely is. If you look at him going to the gala, what the fuck is he going to the gala? Right? Is he one of the Hollywood darkness people? Like the Hollywood elites? Is this what he is? Because I don't see him as being a movie star. So who is he? Who is he in relativity to what the gala is about? The Mets and Met stuff and all that shit, right? When you look at him, he's in a red satanic outfit too, right? So all these things tell you the truth and the energy of what is happening in the world. So he basically is gearing up to try to be like one of the massive rulers, if not the ultimate ruler of the new world order or the new world. But he's doing it like just like all this other darkness behind the scenes and slyly, just how they made people they made people get the COVID shots and all this other shit that's going on, the brainwashing in the colleges, the brainwashing in the schools. If your kids are still in school, man, you better think twice and talk to God, talk to love, talk to universe. You don't all do what I say. You ask higher knowing. I'm just your guide from love to help and assist you from love to tell you what's coming in and give you the best tools so you can live your greatest life. And it's up to you on an individual basis to ask universe and love what is best for your soul with everything. And you don't believe what I'm saying? That's okay. Ask love. Ask love what to do. Ask God. Ask the angels. What's the God's honest truth? Is what Lynn's saying the truth? What do you feel in your heart? Right? What do you feel? Okay, so I think, Tamika, those are great avenues for everybody here. If you haven't already done or started this, it's never too late to start. And let your soul lead you to everything. And it will, just like your new home. It will. Because universe, God, love wants what's best for you and everybody always. Always. Okay? That's how it works. Where darkness ain't on that same page. Darkness wants what's best for itself. And that's it. And there is no mercy there. There is no mercy. There is no compassion. There is nothing. So when people say to me, right, with this nasty darkness, they go to me, oh, well, we should really say prayers for them. Fuck no. No, 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 no. We don't pray for that darkness that wants to destroy us. Are you high? That's about self-love. That's about higher knowing, higher space of God. Yeah. So, listen to your heart. Feel in your heart what the right thing to do is, and always talk to love, and you'll always have the right answer, all of us, for our own individual selves, as well as what's coming in the world, what we need to be aware of, what we want to be a part of, and trigger points, like when we talk about the World Trade Center, will set other things into action in all the energy that is all that is God. So, each of these pieces will come together for the new world and what we have to do here. So the next time there's a train wreck and the next time there's stuff like this, and the people are and will be coming together. Okay. So you know that. And this is, and you will be guided, and these pieces will all come together with the trigger points because we already have soul destinies in us. Okay. Where our souls know exactly what to do, when to do, how to do, and we all signed on for it on our personal missions, or what not to do. And we can always at any time with free will change our minds, just like anybody who's part of darkness can become the light if they choose. But you will know what the truth is by their actions. Same thing with you. All of us will have these energies in us in these times, and it will guide us, and we will know, guided by all that is love, that is God. We will know because we are all connected to that energy. We all have soul's journeys. We all have karma. We all have destiny to change this world. We are the superheroes of the universe. And we came here to change this world on a grand scale, because we're not playing. We do this in every fucking dimension. It's like number 100,023,023. It's like how many times we gotta fight this fucking ridiculousness or change these things in this world, right? Well, and not just in this world, but in the existence or the energy that is all that is God, if you think about it. So that's why when we were kids, there were superhero movies and superhero cartoons. That's the universe telling you who you are. I used to love Spider-Man. Was my all-time favorite. Spider-Man. Right? Spider-Man. Yeah. Oh, my sister's going to do the music now. Anyways, so those are great tools for you, Tamika. Get stock up on your stuff. You'll have stuff to trade, and you'll be ready. And trust that no matter what, like even though I'm trying to get the water and I'm trying to do this, and I'm like, the universe is like, you got 5 to 7 days. You got 5 to 7 days, and so they're telling me this for a massive reasons, and not just for the reasons of the train wreck incident. They're telling me this for above and beyond, and for whatever is coming, because the universe knows things into the future that all of us do not know, because it is all that is God, that is all that is coming. In other words, we are privy to all information if we ask, but as things change and they know the energy and the directions it's going in, all that is God always does. So they will always guide you, if you are in alignment with source or love, to the God's honest truth of the best outcome and things for you into the future. They know, meaning God, universe, love, knows what is coming and what is best for you, even when you do not. So you trust that energy so that you'll be prepared no matter what. And you trust that. That's for all of us. I hope that all that made sense as I get in those zones, All right. So universe knows better than we know ourselves. That's what love is. It is all that is God. So of course it's going to know what's coming down the pike. All right. And we may not all be privy to it, depending on what we ask God for, how we work with love, our soul destinies, what space of God we are in. And that's how that works. Okay. So you all know. Okay. So any questions? Any other questions? Thank you, Tamika. Thank you. And I hope that answers your question. And if there's more to it, holler, girl.
Right now, I don't see any more questions about this. Just a lot of people commenting on different things they're stocking up with.
Good. And
about how their family hunts, so that's a good thing for the future.
What did we say?
Kathy was saying that her family hunts, so it's good for the future.
Yeah.
Just different things. Jake Walker's recommending stocking up on salt. Marcy Bolton actually is asking if you can tell us who you follow on Rumble and Telegraph, etc. So I don't know if you want to talk about different accounts.
Okay. Right now, I don't think I follow anybody on Rumble or Telegraph, honestly. But I will tell you, some people, I don't follow anybody consistently. Like every day I'm watching their shit. What I do is I ask God or love, because information comes in from all sources. All right. And so I'm always talking to love, and they will bring it in from wherever. I will probably give you about 10 different sources that I really like, that have videos. Again, not all of them are the God's honest truth all the time, and you have to feel it out and ask source. But there are ones that are more in alignment than others. So I'm going to share with all you guys, those guys that have some great advice, wisdom, gifts, tools for these times, okay? There is multiple different prepping shows. I know there's City Preppers is one of them. The Jeremiah Babe guy. Both of these guys I think are on YouTube. Like Lynette Zhang. Who else do I like? Greg Manarino. I like Gerald Salente. Now, not all the time. Sometimes the shit is like, poof. I'm like, no. But I feel in my heart, and I ask universe for the questions and answers that I need. And if their feed pops up, I know up, and then I feel it. Should I watch this? And then I feel what is truth within that. So those are a whole bunch of people that come onto my feed and have in the past, but there is more coming. There's a lot more, because more and more people are waking up, and we're finding more questions and answers, and more information, because we are all part of this God or this love energy. So we come together, and this is how we do it. Certain people bring you this. I think there's like a homesteader prepping channel. I can't remember what their name is, but they have some good stuff as well. But the information will come from all these different avenues from all of us. And that is all that is God. So what you do is we work together, and that's the general nature of how this works. And this is also how we're going to come together for the solutions, and to know what's going on in India, to know what's going on in Australia. And they will try to mask it and shut it down. But the truth, you know how it works. The truth always comes out. If your husband is sleeping with somebody, you're going to know. It's only a matter of time. Yeah, that's how it works with this energy, the truth, God's honest truth always comes out. And those are great examples, because you know you know. Okay, I'm wondering who else is there? Is there anybody else that you guys can think of that you know that you've seen me watch or that I've shared with you? Oh, I also love my Twitter feed. My Twitter feed, the people on my Twitter feed are madness, right? The shit that they post is like crazy shit. It makes me laugh. I'll post a lot of it on my Facebook and on my social media stuff as well. And but they got their shit together, like they know what they're talking about. So I really like Twitter for information across the board in the now for what's really happening in the news. There's other news program. Oh, I also like Redacted. There's a lot of good stuff in Redacted as well. That's another show. What else, God? Can you bring them into me? But a lot of times I just go for what I need to know in the moment. I don't watch the whole show, so I'll forward through depending on what it is I'm looking for, guided by higher knowing. So I do things a little bit different, but these are definitely all spaces where you guys can learn a lot of great information out there. Oh, I like Dave Hodges with the Common Sense Show. Okay, what I don't like is when they start doing advertisements and all that shit. I'm not into that. If you're going to do an advertisement, advertise a product and move the fuck on. I don't want to sit here and talk 20 minutes. You have a 20-minute segment, and I don't want to know about the product for 15 minutes so you can tell me 5 minutes of information. I'm not into that. And that's not really the way that's the healthiest and best. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's like the YouTubes that put these pictures on and these titles about what they're going to talk about and what they're going to do, and then they don't even do that. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is that? But this is the world of the dynamics of the darkness and the illusions that we live in. It's, if you're going to say you're going to do it, you say you do it, because this cycles around into all the energy that is you in your life. That's why, just like when I said to my daughter about you have a choice. Where do you want to lie about things or not? Right? Because this energy cycles around back to you. If you lie to others, then your life becomes a lie. Yeah. Who wants that? Not me. Yeah. And I've seen it with my clients too. I have clients who won't tell their children's dads, they have different dads, they won't tell them. And there's all kinds of crazy shit like that. And everything in God's time, and everything is individual to the individual. But you got to remember that if you are lying to your children or not telling them the God's honest truth, and the best way for you to not do that is to ask love to speak through you and ask love to handle it, so that you always have the best outcome and that they don't live a lie as well. And neither do you. Do you see? Okay. So where are we at now?
8:45.
It's 8:45, people.
I did want to say real quick though, Crystal Ferrier just commented, and she said that she's noticed a lot of her clients are planting gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Kathy Womack said one of her clients is stocking up, and that she's seen one of her cleaning clients.
Thank you. Yeah, post what you guys are doing. So, on our page here and on my page too. Share what you're doing. With gardening and stuff, or any tools and things that you guys learn, and even here on the show, post it up there, because we help each other. Truly. And that's what Rachel was just saying. You guys are commenting. And if you drive around, you see a lot more people with garden boxes. Chickens. Yep. And chickens. And yeah, it's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. It's awesome. It's really, these are really unprecedented times. And you can look at it like, oh my God, this is going to destroy me. And you can get in that shitty space, or you can say, okay, God, clear this fear from me now, please. And bring me and give me all the power to live my greatest life and change this fucking world of the darkness that's out here to the best it can be, from love. Thanks God for that for us all, And with that said, I still even have more on my list, right? We talked about so many different things. So I'm going to put this here, and I'm sure some of these questions will come up for next time, because otherwise, when I look at my list about how much more I could possibly talk about, because every now and then, periodically, we do like shows like this to talk about what's happening in these times and give you updates of what's coming, how to handle different things, and what to do, when to do, what not to do, and like I said, the biggest, most important tool is to ask love for everything you need and work with that energy. Be in your heart, feel it out. You will get all the answers, and you will have everything you need for this whole new world. So thank you, everybody, for coming on tonight. Thanks for being my people, and may we change the world from love. God bless. All right, take